what's going on? Welcome to the Vampire Diaries After Show here on theStreamtv. I'm your host tonight, Megan, and I'm joined by, as always, my lovely Vampirelicious co-host. We got Jessica Hickam,
hey guys,
Melinda Hale, and Rachel Rowland. Now, before we get into tonight's episode, guys, I have a really cool fact for all of you. If you watch Pretty Little Liars and also the Pretty Little Liars After Show, which I'm a co-host on, you may have recognized someone in last week's episode. This girl to my left, Jessica Hickam, was an extra on the show. Remember the part where...
Way back in the day. Like, we're talking like 4 years ago.
No, but remember the part where Aria was like flipping through the yearbook, and I was watching it with the other girls, and I paused the TV, and I was like, oh, that's Jessica Hickam, and your picture was right there next to Jason.
Right next to Jason.
Next to Jason.
Apparently, they decided to bring back the yearbook photos from like 4 years ago. And
I loved every minute of it.
So
if you
funny.
don't watch PLL, sorry for that brief little moment, but I had to give my girl a shout out because that was freaking awesome.
I love it.
All right, guys. So tonight's episode was a little chaotic, a little all over the place, but you know, I'm really excited that we finally got a merge. The merge happened, but it didn't happen quite in the same way we thought it was going to happen.
Well, I don't even know how we thought it was going to happen.
I
think we were really
thought
confused.
It was going to be either Liv or Luke, or Liv and Luke and Kai and Joe, but then we have Luke and Kai. And oh my gosh, so let's talk about that scene.
I originally thought it was Damon because he was acting like he had like a plan and all of that. And I was like, okay, is this Damon's doing? But then Damon killed Tyler, and so we were all confused. And then I was like, did we underestimate Luke?
Well, he knocked him out.
Yeah, that's what it
He
was.
didn't kill him.
He didn't kill him quite yet.
Soon.
Right, I just didn't know what was going to happen. It was so bizarre, and I loved the twist though, because like you said, we underestimated Luke. It was very cool because Kai was, in
I
his
thought it
little
was a
timeout,
cop-out.
so he was the same age. I thought it was really interesting.
I was so torn.
I thought it was a cop-out. I thought, like, and I think we talked about this. I think they discovered that they liked Kai so much that they had to find some way to keep him. And Luke has kind of like just been floating in the series, so he was the obvious choice to die. So I'm so glad that they kept Kai, but I don't know. I just thought it was kind of a cop-out between the relationship with he and Joe. Like we wanted to like see that through. So I kind of hope it's not over yet.
I really feel like this was one of those writer moments where they were like, okay, we're gonna kill Kai, blah, blah, blah. He's just a couple episodes, but they loved him so much that they were like, let's write it up. Because we were torn. We were like, Luke is such a hero for jumping in to do it, but at the same time, you love Kai as a bad guy. You're like, don't wanna lose Kai.
I was excited about the merge, but at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have any emotional attachments to Luke. So now that he's dead, I'm kind of like, it was a really sad scene, especially with Joe, stroking his face, like wake up, and then he wakes up for a second, and then he's like, oh, and you're like, oh. I think we were all like, oh.
That was like Vampire Diaries thing tonight with what's a Mama Forge or whatever. Both of them, they're like, fake out, gotcha.
Fake out.
We were all fake out, yes.
I think they were like watching the show, and just like loving it because we were all like, oh, you know, all the sound effects you can imagine.
Yeah, and then I thought it was weird that Papa Parker, as Damon calls him, just all of a sudden was trying to merge Liv and, there's so many names, Liv and Luke, and it's just like, I feel like as a dad, those are the extras, and he didn't really like care about them in that moment.
He cares more about the coven
He cares
as a
more
whole.
about the coven.
I was just so confused with his conversation with Damon, and then the merge, and then I'm like, what was that conversation with Damon? Does Damon have a plan?
I think
Like, it was
Damon
all
just
over the
trying
place.
To get them to merge so that Joe wasn't killed by Kai.
Okay,
I
but
think
here's my
that's what his plan
question
was.
now. What happens when Kai dies? So who...
Is he gonna die?
Well, I mean, he's so bad.
Just because, like, he has to.
Yeah, he's got to die eventually, right?
But maybe he'll turn good. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, assuming he doesn't turn good and he eventually gets axed, who takes his place? Like, what happens to the coven now?
Oh,
Just
they
some
haven't
food
touched
for
into
thought.
that.
We need to.
Does
I think
Joe
that they
take
need to dive
over?
into that a little bit further.
I bet they will now.
They will.
But I don't
Joe.
think Kai's going anywhere anytime soon.
But they're
He's
still
not.
going to try to kill him.
Maybe.
But we were just, you guys were just talking about Damon. Do we blame this whole thing on him, the merge happening, because he took Kai off ice and replaced it with Tyler? It always seems to go back to poor Damon. And is it his fault? Is it his fault that Luke is dead?
I know what you guys are going to say, but the one thing I do say about Damon is that he does try to do good, but he doesn't think about the domino effect of his actions. He's a thing.
But that's why we love him, because we're like, oh, I do that in real life all the time.
I know. Okay, well, another big thing that happened was, oh my gosh, it was the show was tearing at our heartstrings because we thought Mrs. Forbes was dying. They had this whole flashbacks. When she was doing the flashbacks, we all thought, oh my gosh, she's dying and Caroline's not there. But before that happened, Kai, who's always bad, ends up taking the vampire-ness out of her.
But he knew that there was a twist, so it was kind of bad.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like we're so confused because Damon made a deal with him. Like Damon has some plan because he did that with Kai, but we don't know what Damon's plan is now because then he merged with Luke. Like I feel like there's still something we don't know that Damon's planning in the background.
I think it has to do with
agree with
Bonnie,
you.
regardless.
Because Kai wouldn't do that for free.
Bonnie's just not in the show anymore. Don't even get me started on Bonnie because she just isn't in the show. We haven't seen Bonnie since Christmas now.
Right. Yeah. But exciting news, we did see her in next week's previews. So something is going to happen.
It better
happen because I'm kind of getting over the whole Bonnie thing.
I'm over the whole Bonnie thing.
But it's just like you can't just keep teasing her
out of
in
sight,
and
out of mind.
Right.
But bottom line is, going back to Mrs. Forbes, she is still alive, but and still sick, but not, her time has not come yet. So I'm really glad that Caroline had a moment to come back, and it wasn't
It's
her
gonna
time
be like
to go.
Catherine, where they fake out 5 times and she actually dies.
Catherine never died.
What was that whole thing though with what's her name with the blood, the vampire? I'm blanking.
Caroline.
Yeah, in the flashback. What was that about?
Interesting.
Well, was she biting her mom? I was confused.
She just had blood.
On her.
Oh, she was just crying.
It was a really creepy
It was like
thing.
a weird way for her mom to wake up because Caroline was in her neck, and I was like, is she feeding on her right now? What's going on?
She was just crying.
So she was just crying.
Well, to me, I thought the flashbacks when she was packing up, I thought it was oh, that's a really symbolic way for her to die, so to speak. But then she sees her daughter's a vampire. It was bizarre.
I think my favorite part of the episode was when Mrs. Forbes was talking to Stefan at the end, and she was basically saying, listen, I'm going to die, and I need someone to take care of Caroline, and I want it to be you. And it was just so perfect and brilliant. P.S. I feel like they're trying to make Stefan look like Twilight, what's his name?
Edward.
Oh my gosh,
Edward
Cullen. He
so
looks
funny.
so pale this episode, and his hair is just
So
really dark.
dark.
And I'm like,
so dark.
We're like, did he dye his hair?
Hilarious.
but how did you guys
Definitely dyed the
feel
hair.
about Mrs. Forbes saying that? What do we think is going to happen
it's the
for
natural
Caroline?
thing. Stefan is the protector and the caretaker. That's just his personality, and he's such a good friend to Caroline.
Future
That
lover. Future lover.
You know what I loved
I
about
think he's the right person.
You know what I loved about Mrs. Forbes too is that she always liked Damon. I love that she and
she had a
Damon
really-
always
They had a
had
great
such a good
rapport,
relationship that I kind of hope we get some Damon time with Mrs. Forbes before she dies.
That was his whole thing, why he was freaking out and doing his Damon thing where he gets so angry when they couldn't save her, and he was like, you low life, you're worthless.
You're worthless.
That's how he acts out because he cares.
Yeah.
He
It's true. And of course, we can't go by this episode without talking about Damon and Elena, and they share a very juicy kiss.
It was not juicy, though.
It wasn't
It actually
juicy.
wasn't authentic
It wasn't
at all.
juicy.
And I'm not just saying that because
It was kind of a letdown, guys.
Do you guys remember the days we used to watch Vampire Diaries and actually
your heart would start beating.
Oh my gosh.
you feel like you're there.
You're like, I'm having a moment right now. My future marriage is gonna look just like this. And I was
exactly.
like, what just happened?
And but I think that Caroline and Stefan have that potential chemistry right now.
Yes.
But the Delena kiss tonight was so flat.
that
We
was
were all like, huh?
Ooh.
It just didn't.
felt forced.
It just
didn't
felt
feel,
forced. And the entire episode, she was kind of being mean. She just
was
felt
off.
the whole episode. And then it ended with this weird kiss. It's just weird.
I just feel like it is. If it's exactly that they were actually in love on set, and now that they're broken up, it's like you guys can't beat the chemistry that you had. It's just, you're never gonna be able to go back to it.
Exactly. Oh, well, it was a good episode nonetheless. A little confusing, a little all over the place, but we got some answers, and we got a kiss, and we got
a merge.
And we got a merge.
Finally.
We can't complain. It was okay. It was all right. All right, guys. Well, make sure that you tweet us using the hashtag TVDAS, and we'll be back to chat with you in just a few moments.
just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited.
So this is dancing. So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's a coward. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be like hurricane. Whoa.
Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
That the more brutal you are, the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy. It was hot. It was heated. I was into it.
You are gonna be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama. Tell them don't go ahead and turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on theStream.tv.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.
Hey guys, welcome back, and we want to talk to all of you out there because you are just chatting away on our YouTube chat boards and also chat boards. I think I made that word.
Chat boards.
I like it.
Let's rock it.
I like it. Let's patent that. Let's patent that. Before we get to YouTube, though, we have some questions that I got earlier in the weeks. If ever you have a question that you just happen to think about during the week, always tweet us using the hashtag TVDAS because we're all constantly checking and answering your questions, and you have the potential to be featured on this after show. So our first feature comes from Date Tolbert. We love you. You're always asking such great questions. First question, through all of the seasons, do you think Matt deserves true love again? Yes. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for bringing up Matt because I
where
love
is
him.
Matt?
We love Matt.
Matt deserves true love with me.
No, he should be the next Bachelor.
They really,
he should be the next Bachelor.
They really haven't given him a love line like at all.
At all. Since Elena.
Yeah.
No, Rebecca.
Oh yeah. That was a
they did have that
love line.
I like that. They need to take him onto the originals.
They should take him onto the originals.
Yes. No, okay, here's what I'll say though. I think he needs a good little human girl. I think like
He does need a good
needs
little
a nice
human
human
He's the only one
girl.
that's still normal,
It's
right?
true.
He's
He's
the only
still
one that's
normal.
Tyler.
He needs Megan.
Tyler's a werewolf.
Not anymore.
No, but he
has
could.
the gene,
He
but
could.
he's still
He used
human
to be.
again now.
Great
Okay,
question.
well
though.
he's got the gene.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, our next fan question comes from Chris Hawkins. He writes, do you think Enzo will fall in love with Sarah? Great question, because that was a storyline that we saw last week, but not this week. So I like that. I think that's absolutely possible. What do you guys think?
Well, he didn't really interact with her last week because remember he was just talking to the assistant to like take all the pictures. He hasn't even really met Sarah yet. But I feel like that would be a really interesting twist of that he goes to like wreak havoc and just be his hot self.
I'm not ready to let go of the Enzo, Stefan, Caroline love triangle. Like I think that Stefan and Caroline are gonna make it happen, and that's why he's kind of removed right now. But don't make it so easy. I still think there's some fire left in that
Let's
flame.
just throw in some Twilight triangles everywhere.
What? I mean, come on, it's Vampire Diaries. Why not?
Exactly. Well, I like that question. And our last fan question comes from Living Life in Peace. I love that. Living Life in Peace. That's a great username. Okay. What do you think of Elena falling in love with Damon again? And what ideal Delena date do you want to see?
Well, they kind of like skipped over all of that.
I liked the Italian restaurant idea tonight.
But remember, she was all like snappy about it. She's like, we've done that before.
That's what I mean.
cheating.
She was so tonight. Yeah.
She was crappy to everybody, to Stefan, to Damon.
Yeah, she must have been on her period.
Like, I was going to say that. I was going to be like, that girl is PMSing.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you guys. Like, obviously, I'm excited about Damon and Elena, but I really feel like they reconnected too quickly. I wanted the storyline to focus on them a little bit more, but because of the merge and Mrs. Forbes and all these other things going on these past couple weeks, and Bonnie, it was just like they were kind of, their storyline was thrown in the background. I can't help but think that that's because of what was happening in real life.
I also was a little bit bummed if I really wanted my Stelena kiss before the Delena kiss.
Yes.
I felt like
You mean Steroline?
Steroline.
Yeah.
Yes, it's okay.
Caroline, I can't keep up with it, but Caroline and Stefan, like we've been wanting that kiss for so long now. To throw Elena and Damon in there, I was just kind of like, there was no build up. There was no build up.
I was still kind of going for the Damon and Bonnie thing. I don't know. I was kind of interested to
they
see
were
if that
cute.
was going to happen.
But Bonnie's not even in the show anymore.
I know, that's why I had to
But it
give it up
was.
on it. But I could see it happening.
It was cute.
But I agree. Jessica had mentioned earlier that it would have been nice to see Damon pursue it a little bit longer and
like
have
the
her be a struggle.
heartache
Yeah, like really trying to convince her to give this a chance again.
Exactly.
There wasn't any fight.
I know. So
You're just
Jessica is has our YouTube up right
YouTube.
now.
Here we go.
And so maybe just shout out some people.
Oh,
and then
definitely.
If you see an awesome
There
question.
are so many of you talking on YouTube right now. It's so awesome. I can hardly keep up with it. There's so many great conversations. Chris Hawkins, of course, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see who else here. Denise V, awesome questions tonight and comments. We love it. Tiago Silva, you're also tuning in, and Sierra Fields. So thank you guys so much for chatting and keeping this crazy conversation going.
What's the convo saying?
You know, there was actually a really interesting comment from Brittany McCullough tonight. She asked a question that really got me thinking. She said, if Kai couldn't kill himself in the other world, then why does everyone think Bonnie might die there? Which is such a good point. And since we didn't see Bonnie tonight, I thought maybe it'd be nice if we talked about her a little bit.
Well, it's interesting because she got stabbed a million times and she never died. She just kept
coming back.
Well, that was
so she didn't die.
We had talked about that because she got stabbed and then she was like up and running the next morning.
So maybe she'll find out a way magically to kill herself. I don't know.
I feel like they're gonna let her go out big. Like they're gonna bring her back. Everybody's gonna be happy to have her, and then it's gonna be like, boom, bye, Bonnie.
So you don't think they're gonna kill her in the other world? They're gonna bring her back.
No, I think they'll bring her
they
back.
have to bring
I think
her
it
back.
might be intertwined with that Damon plan that we don't really know about yet.
I feel like she's gonna kill Kai, and that's what's gonna kill her.
Oh, that's a good
Because
idea.
like, you know what I mean? Because it'll take too much.
Do we
power
think
out
Kai
of
is
her.
going to die soon, though?
I hope not.
No,
I don't think
I'm
so.
thinking like
We
season
Kai.
finale, if it's coming.
Yeah.
Maybe the reason why we haven't seen Bonnie in a little while is because they weren't expecting all of us fans to love Kai so much. So they're really riding on that storyline, and then they're going to bring Bonnie back. But yes, great question. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was another great episode, and we will see you next week. But before we go, I wanted to let you know what other after shows that we do. So you guys know I also do the Pretty Little Liars after show. Jessica?
I'm on Girls.
She does the Girls after show on Sunday nights.
And I do Walking Dead.
Yes, awesome. And yeah, so we love you all, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.